Back at Daytona, getting ready to get started for the season opener, the Gander RV and Outdoors Truck Series. They're lined up on their pace laps after about a 45-minute or so delay because of rain, but the track is dry and we're getting started. And that 52 truck is Stuart Friesen's got to come from the 28th position, Joey.
He's got his work cut out. Let's see what he's got to say about it. Hey, Stuart, it's Joey Logano up here in the Fox booth. You got a copy on us?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Hey, man, we're just wondering up here, you know, you got a new team, you got a new truck. I'm sure you're really excited about it, but you got a lot of work ahead of you starting back in the 28th position. Is your plan to go for it right off the bat and try to grab some track position? You got short stages here, or you just want to ride it out and kind of let them crash ahead of you and be there at the end? What's your thoughts?
Well, we're just going to kind of see how it goes here. Talk to some of the guys starting around us, and we'll see kind of how it starts to shake out. I don't really want to hang them at the back all too awful long. You know, those stage points are pretty important. So if we can make some runs and get up here, we're going to try. If not, we're just going to play it by ear and ride.
All right, well, make it entertaining for us up here.
10-4. Thanks a lot, and you know, thanks to Halmar, thanks to our great Northeast racing fans pulling for us. We're going to try to do you all proud tonight.
All right, man, good luck down there.
His son Parker likes to dance on that truck when he does a good deal, so hopefully we can see some dancing tonight from Parker. Let's take a look at our Gander RV and Outdoor Truck Series track description. There she is. It's a piece of art, the most beautiful racing facility in the world in my eyes, 2.5 miles in length. The turns are banked at 31 degrees. The tri-oval at 18 gets a little bit hairy through there sometimes. These boys will have to hold on. All that means, all those numbers, Joey, that just means drafting. These guys need to draft and push, and they're going to do it, as you see, for 100 laps, 250 miles. The stages are 20 laps, and then 60. They can go somewhere between 36 and 38 laps on a tank of fuel. And last year, Austin Hill went to victory lane, kick-started a very, very good season for that team. Looking forward to seeing who can get that trophy tonight.
And our starting lineup, 32 trucks, will be led by Riley Herbst in just his 8th race in the Truck Series. He won the pole earlier today in qualifying.
Brett Moffitt, no mustache, lost about 30 pounds, has been in the gym. God, there's so much going on in his life. I'm looking forward to listening to Brett talk about how his year and his life is going.
Saw Christian Eckes and others here. Row 3, Johnny Sauter, 3-time winner. Tyler Ankrum won last year at Kentucky.
Raphael Lessard from Quebec, Canada. There's the champ, Matt Crafton. Great qualifying effort there by Corbin Forrester up inside the top 10.
Grant Enfinger, runner-up a couple of times last year. Ben Rhodes, 3-time runner-up. And there's Tanner Gray, former pro stock champion in NHRA.
What about his experience? It's all going straight, Joey.
there's long straightaways here, but there's those turns. Those turns always get you.
Those pesky turns. Corey Roper, Gus Dean back in row 10.
Cody Robaugh and Brian Doza there in row 11. Jordan Anderson, Austin Wayne Self. It's interesting that they are both on row 12 because now they share a shop and they qualified right next to one another. Imagine that.
Jesse Little, Todd Gilliland. Stuart Friesen, you talked to him. I can't wait to watch this team develop. New opportunity for Stuart driving a Toyota this year. Be fun to see. Went to the Final Four last year. Can he do it again?
16 rows of 2 lined up. Get some interesting perspectives from the 16 truck of Austin Hill. 4-time winner last year, and of course he won this race last season. He starts from the 15th position tonight. And Grant Enfinger, last season's regular season champion. He'll roll off 11th. And all the Thor Sport trucks sporting a silver hood, celebrating the 25th anniversary of Thor Sport's participation in the sport. And Duke and Rhonda Thorson have contributed so much to the sport of racing, in particular the Truck Series. And you see that silver hood on the 98 of Grant Enfinger. Let's get a couple of more updates from pit road before we go green. We'll begin with Jamie Little.
Well, Vince, one guy to keep an eye on is in the 40 truck. Ross Chastain raced more than any other driver in NASCAR last year across 3 different series. He's back tonight. Told me right now he's planning on racing a handful of Truck Series races. He said, heck, if I could, I would run them all. But he is really excited about the truck they brought tonight. He's starting on the 2nd row. Keep your eye on Watermelon Man. Alan.
some good last-minute advice for Austin Hill in the 16 truck there. You know, winning this race as he did last year, that goes a long way, and that's what the team is telling him. He's starting 15th tonight, but there's a lot of young guys in this race, and they say, look, they're going to look to you and look to what you're doing. They will push you, so use them to try to get to the front. That's the advice for Austin Hill before we go green.
You know, it's an interesting difference between what these guys like a Crafton or a Sauter who are 40 plus, and then some of these teenagers are experiencing. How about the difference just in the mindset of what these guys, they don't, in some of their cases, don't know what to expect.
You don't know what you don't know sometimes.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's a bad thing, to be honest with you. I want to know what's coming at me. But that's what this series is for. Is for a lot of young up-and-coming drivers to come up with a lot of things. And something I'm interested in seeing here is you talk to Ross Chastain and some of the pre-race stuff. He talked about the alliance with Chevrolet teams out there and how they're planning on working together. What does that mean, right? That is the most confusing thing when you come to these super speedways is what is okay, what's acceptable, and once it doesn't go right, once one driver makes maybe the not correct move in the alliance that these teams put together, it kind of crumbles. Everything could fall apart. And you hear that Ross tried to do it on his own last time it came to a super speedway. He said it was wrong. He can't beat them all on his own. So it'll be interesting to see what that alliance looks like. Is it just pit strategy? Is it the way they draft on the racetrack? Is it a line they try to form? You know, you see this stuff happening more and more in the Cup level and the Xfinity level. It'll be interesting to see what that looks like in the trucks.
Difficult to do, I would think, for some of these youngsters to put it all together in some instances on their very first try. You look at some of the race facts. 13 of the 20 races won from the top 10 starting position, and the average starting position of the winner, 9.9. By the way, starting 10th tonight is Matt Crafton.
Well, he would like to go to victory lane in Daytona. His career is pretty much defined in the trucks by championships, but a Daytona trophy would be nice. And what about old Bobby Hamilton back in 2005? He came from 36. You think anybody can win from 36 tonight, Vince?
No, there's only 32 of them.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, how about final thoughts from our former drivers in the studio, Phil Parsons and Todd Bodine?
Well, guys, I think we have to pay attention. Maybe if somebody's not running right up front towards the end of these stages, maybe pitting a little bit early. Obviously, you have to be on pit road before 2 laps to go, but it might be a situation where somebody maybe feels like they can grab some track position by short pitting, because I think they should be able to get on the pit road, put some gas in, maybe even right side tires, and get back out before the field comes around.
Yeah, I want to see if we can get a third lane going out
good
there.
Point there at race strategy here. It could be very interesting.
So you've got Riley Herbst starting on the inside and Brett Moffitt starting on the outside.
These guys are very focused right now, but very nervous. Todd spoke of a third lane. How quickly will that develop? What will that bottom line do? A lot of times we see the trucks just hug the bottom. What's the strategy? Let's hear from the 51 team, see what they're telling Riley Herbst about this start.
Let's have some damn fun here. So I'm glad to have you, buddy.
Thanks, man. I'm glad to be here. You're doing well. Things are pretty fast.
Yeah, let's just make sure we make the right decisions tonight. It's all about seat time, and the more laps we run, the more seat time it gets for tomorrow. So.
The best pep talks always come from NASCAR. There's no question about it. Well, the 2020 season is about to get underway. The Gander RV and Outdoors Truck Series. Pace truck is off. It's Riley Herbst, the pole winner, on the inside. Brett Moffitt on the outside. We're racing at Daytona.
Good push from that bottom lane, kind of pulls the first Toyota truck out front there to take control here, but still a solid outside lane right there. That's probably going to make a pretty good run down this backstretch.
Herbst out front, got a little help, as Joey noted, and that outside line back, but it is populated, so look for some movement from that outside lane and how quickly they can get back up, challenge at the front.
It's all about doing the bump draft correctly. You can see Ross Chastain, he's right on the back of Brett Moffitt. Can he bump into that tailgate and give Moffitt the momentum to pull alongside our leaders. You can see the contact there. That's why Moffitt's truck is dancing around.
In the truck series, you cannot lock the bumpers. That's a drive-through penalty. We've seen it happen before. It's really difficult to get at some bump drafting and not get those bumpers locked up at all.
Yeah, if you get the bumpers locked, there is a lot of speed there. If you can hook them and go, boy, you can really see some speed gain. But it's against the rules. You can't do that. So you got to somehow be able to bump, but not come too far off that back bumper and just continuously give small bumps to that car in front of you to move your lane along.
Well, the outside did not work at all. Ross Chastain, those guys that started on the outside have dropped like a lead balloon.
Yeah, Moffitt.
See the dominant line on the inside.
Yeah, Moffitt, who started on that front row, he's back to 10th. A couple of KBM trucks out front, Riley Herbst and Christian Eckes, and then the 3-time Daytona winner Johnny Sauter running third. Tyler Ankrum in the 26. Won last year at Kentucky. He is fourth, and Grant Enfinger fifth.
How far back are you content just to ride there, Joey? You got to get to lap 20 to get those valuable stage points. If you're running 6th or 8th, do you stay there or you say, heck, we got to go? I think somebody's saying I got to go.
It all depends on where you see that second lane moving up to. You don't want to be too late, right? Because you're 5th in line and that whole outside line passes you. Next thing you know, you're 10th. So you have to make a move at some point, but you don't want to make the move too soon when you don't have help behind you. You don't have that push behind you. So you see some cars wiggling already, which is kind of interesting coming off the corner. Turn 4 is usually the spot where the cars are the least stable.
Well, and Stuart Friesen certainly not wasting any time. Remember, he started 28th. Friesen up into the 18th spot. He's gained 10 positions already.
Right alongside Tanner Gray. We talked about those straight line passes he makes. He's adapting pretty well to the high banks at Daytona. Nice move there through turns 1 and 2. One of the trucks on the bottom peeking around. That was Austin Hill. Looked like he thought about joining Brett Moffitt on that second lane, but decided against it.
Riding on board with the 16 of Austin Hill.
And this is the point, if you're the 16 of Austin Hill, you're saying, do I go? Do I stay in line here on the bottom, or do I move up top? What should I do? What should I do? Because if you don't make the move right now, you're stuck down there and you can't get up. So it's a tough decision that he's having to figure out right now. And you lean on your spotter. How many trucks are up there right now? And should I do it? And he's almost going to be too late here.
But that's what he wants to do. You can tell he's just trying to find the right moment to pop out in front of Moffitt. But he hasn't done it. That's Austin Hill, the 16, that is tempted to go to the top. But he's, like you said, Joey, waited too long.
That was the 23 of Brett Moffitt who pulled up alongside.
Still at your core.
And this is something we'll see too, maybe as this run goes and tires start to wear, you may see some of this outside lane get stronger and stronger as trucks on the bottom can't hold it. And as you see here, the 99 truck getting stuck in what we call the sucker hole, right down the middle. Not a good spot to be. That's going to go all the way to the back. No one's going to come save him.
Ben Rhodes stuck in the middle, and watch this one. It was a close call right here.
Ben did. Oh, look, and Brett gets into the back of him, and it almost turns him around. Ben Rhodes did what Austin Hill wanted to do. He got out in front of that group, but Brett wasn't having any of it. He decided to get aggressive into the back of Rhodes. He went.
And those are some of the decisions you need to make. You know, when someone pulls out in front of you like that, if you put him 3 wide, look how much distance that outside lane has lost, that they were gaining. They were making all that room up on some of those trucks, and because of that move, they lost so much momentum that they got to start that work all over again and try to work that momentum back to the front.
Moffitt is that lead truck on the outside line in that 23, and that's Ty Majeski in the 45 to his inside. Ross Chastain in the 40 truck right behind Moffitt, and then you've got the 21 of Zane Smith. What are you seeing, Phil?
Well, guys, you see that we have GMS working together on the outside, trying to get something going with Brett Moffitt leading that group, Ross Chastain right behind him, and then Zane Smith, another GMS truck. Remember, these guys had an alignment in years past, not anymore. Nice is on their own right now. They do not have a relationship, a working relationship with GMS. So these guys are on their own, but yet they're working together now because they know that it benefits each other right now.
Yeah, those Chevys, we know how Ross Chastain talked about not helping his Chevrolet teammates. So a lesson learned from a year ago at Talladega.
Riley Herbst leading the way. Just his 8th career start in the Truck Series. He'll run full-time in the Xfinity Series this year. First ever laps led for Herbst in the trucks.
Look at those trucks just bobbing back and forth down the back straightaway. That's cool looking, but it scares me to death because that's how a wreck happens.
How about the leader, Alan?
Everything going as planned for the 51 of Riley Herbst, leading the field right there. You heard him before they took the green about getting as much experience in laps as possible. They told him, look, if you can't maintain out there in the lead, if you get moved a little bit, go right to the back and save your stuff for the end. But as you can see, he's out there leading these laps. The only complaint so far is that he's getting a little fidgety off turn 4. Joey mentioned that. You can get a little loose coming off of 4 here at Daytona.
Fidgety, that's a new one for me.
Nervous. I'm nervous watching these guys because look, they're running 190 miles an hour, and got a problem for one of the trucks. Is that Kraus in the 19
Derek
truck?
Kraus, and Kraus had moved up into the top 10. He was running 7th at the time, and
Anything, Kevin? I don't see any smoke.
an obvious issue for the 19 of Kraus, and he had really made a nice move up. It started 16th, and
Okay, no fuel. I'm not worried about fuel here. Left side tires. Get a good look at that left front.
Sounds like maybe a tire issue.
I still see nothing. Easy here. Second gear, 3650.
Freddie Kraft, the spotter, and Kevin Bellecourt, the crew chief for the 19 of Derek Kraus.
And it sounds like they were talking about the left front. Maybe he has a left front tire flat, or let's see what they're doing here. Left side tires, which is an interesting call.
Oh, they got an issue under the hood maybe in that left front corner. Checked it out. 2 tires. Now you just don't want to make a mistake. He can overcome this. You don't want to speed on pit road and lose another lap because this is early in the race, Vince. We got stage breaks. There's probably going to be a caution. I know that's a shocker to everybody watching at home, but they're probably going to run into each other once. And so Kraus can overcome this if he just doesn't make a mistake and compound his issues.
And he's going to lose a lap here, but he's going to be the lucky dog right now at this point. He just got to hold on for 9 more laps.
Just past the halfway point in stage 1 at Daytona for the Gander RV and Outdoors Truck Series. Going to break, but you won't miss a thing. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Chase the possibilities. Unlock discovery at every turn. Goodyear, more driven. Beautiful night here in Daytona. Chilly, much chillier than yesterday when we had sunshine and temperatures in the mid 80s. We were just about 60 degrees when we got started tonight, about 45 minutes late because of an earlier shower. 6 to go here in stage 1. We saw some issues from the 19 of Derek Kraus. What's going on, Jamie?
Well, he had a vibration, and so he brought it down pit road right away. Thought maybe he had a left front going down, but I just talked to his crew chief, Kevin Bellecourt, and he said, no, the tires look just fine. So, Michael, since this is the first time he's ever raced in the draft like this on a track this big, do you think that's a case of being a rookie and feeling something he's just not used to?
Well, he's a smart rookie, Jamie. We've seen him do a great job behind the wheel of that truck in his few starts. So it could have been a problem with the wheel, maybe a loose wheel, possibly a tire that didn't balance properly and it just got worse. Joey, you know that any vibration when you're in a pack like this, especially when you're a rookie, oh, there it goes.
In the middle.
Oh, no.
Austin
Oh,
Wayne
no.
Self and upside down is the 45 of Majeski.
Let's hope he gets back on his tires here.
That thing's square on the roof. What a shame.
Ty Majeski and his truck comes to a stop.
You just know with all that movement, bouncing back and forth, side to side, trying to side draft, one guy zigs, the other one zags, and you have a mess.
It's just the intensity level keeps, growing as you get to the end of these stages. You see 5 to go in the stage. You start to see the intensity level just grow.
0-2 of Tate Fogelman with damage. There's the 22 of Austin Wayne Self.
Austin, don't get stuck there. Back it up.
Wow.
All right, now try to turn it.
The rescue crews getting to Ty Majeski's vehicle.
God, that front tire is still spinning. Is that right? Oh, it's upside down. Left front.
Just shows you the speed, all the energy those trucks have.
We saw one of the safety officials give a thumbs up. That's an initial good sign. Don't want to speculate, but certainly was a good sign to see one of those safety officials give the thumbs up.
Vince, those cabs are so big, there's a lot of room for Ty to be strapped in there, even though the truck slid so far on its roof. I'm sure that he was well secured. And
yeah, at this point, you know, you think about, like, you know, flipping over isn't very common sometimes, you know, throughout your career. I've gone through it, and it's a very scary feeling, and a lot different than what you're used to in a crash. And you know, the good thing is, it doesn't look like he made any big impacts. He just flipped over and got stuck on its lid. You know, and if they give a thumbs up, hopefully he's okay in there. The worst part, though, seems like you're just sitting there upside down. And think about when you unhook those belts, that's where you can really injure yourself, you know, as you fall into what is the roof of the truck. When you undo those belts, you know, all the lap belt and the shoulder belts come undone at the same time. So being smart about how you hold yourself up at this point is tough. And sitting upside down is not comfortable.
And there's the crews addressing Austin Wayne's self, as you see Austin coming up out of the 22 truck. The first incident of this race, as we're just 4 laps shy of the end of stage 1. And Ty Majeski still inside his truck as they are about to bring it right side up. Yeah. Put it on its wheels.
I flipped here one day, Vince, on the back straightaway, and I couldn't get out, just like Ty can't. And I just kept begging the safety guys to roll me over so I could get out. And it took a while to convince them that that was the right thing to do. Obviously, these safety officials, the safety's really advanced. They've got the straps to the truck. They're going to gently roll it over with a lot of assist, and I'm sure that's what Ty's asking for to happen.
You know, if they do this gentle enough, if you look at the body from the bottom side of it here, there doesn't look like there's much damage on that thing.
Yeah, but once they hook it up, he's toast. And you can see the front suspension, maybe that left front tire is really caved in. They're not really pointing in the right direction.
Majeski is a Gander Trucks rookie, making his first start here at Daytona. He's had 15 starts in the Xfinity Series, but running with Nice Motorsports this year on a full-time basis, teaming up with crew chief Phil Gould, who was the crew chief for Ross Chastain last season. Of course, they made their way into the championship 4. So big things expected from Majeski this season, even though just a rookie. As they roll this truck back over on its tires, and you see the damage to the top of that Nice Motorsports Chevrolet.
There's a little more damage there than I gave it credit for.
Yeah, that's. Appreciate your optimism, though.
You know, I always think that you're never out of these things. Look what Eric Jones did the other night in the Clash. Right? You never know what can happen in these things. Didn't Earnhardt flip one over before and came back out?
Yeah, on the backstretch.
Yeah.
Got out of the car, and he said he got out of the car and looked at it, and he said, well, the wheels are pointing in the right direction.
Let's go.
Let me get back in that thing. Drove it in, finished the race.
Ty Majeski, 25 years old, from Seymour, Wisconsin.
And there he comes.
And what a great sight as Ty Majeski climbs from that truck.
I tell you, they rolled that truck over very gently. That was pretty impressive how they can do that.
What a ride for Ty Majeski. One he won't soon forget. Take a look and see how it all began as we go back to the highlights.
A push is probably the beginning, and yes, there it is. Todd Gilliland in back of the.
That's Fogelman in the 0-2, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then, man, Majeski just turned sideways down the front, and it just tipped right over. NASCAR does so much work in the wind tunnel to have flaps, air flaps, different panels on the truck that blow away that is supposed to prevent that, but probably just one of those circumstances that put him in a real jeopardy.
Yeah, and you know, bumping through the tri-oval here is the sketchiest place to do it. And you see that big set that you saw that white truck make right there. He needed room to save it. And you try to do everything you can to not run into other cars. You try to do everything you can to keep your truck going straight. And unfortunately, wrong place at the wrong time for Ty.
9 trucks involved. Let's ride along with the 16 of Austin Hill and see his perspective.
That's the best perspective to have of a wreck, Vince.
Yeah,
Pretty wide again, a wreck behind you. They're wrecking big time. Keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling. All right, cautions out, back it down. Roll out easy.
There's the push. Push in the trial was just not the ideal place this time of the race especially, but it's hard to make it work through there, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's just not the spot to do it. And these are some of the mistakes that will be made throughout this race. As these drivers have more and more experience, they realize, hey, don't touch each other going through that tri-oval. It is a decent turn, and it doesn't have the banking that turns 1, 2, 3, and 4 have. It's quite a bit flatter, so the car's not compressed into the racetrack, loaded like you really want it to. It's an uneasy feeling, especially when someone's tagging you in the back bumper. Although he didn't do it in a malicious way, he was doing it trying to move his lane forward and trying to, ultimately gain some stage points. But unfortunately, some cars are more stable in those spots than others, and some lessons learned the hard way here.
Yeah, really hard for Todd Majeski. Todd Gilliland will go on to race, but learn a valuable lesson. A couple of guys made some amazing moves to get low on the racetrack and miss this mess. How about those beautiful pictures from our Fox Sports cameramen, women, just doing an amazing job showing the folks at home the violence of this big flip and slide down the front straightaway. I was talking about a couple of guys that just really overachieved. Watch the 4 of Lassard and also the 52 of Stuart Friesen. When this wreck goes wrong, you got to react quickly. There's the crash, and look at those 2 already going to the bottom. Let's get down low, and just continue to go that way along with Ben Rhodes, and are able to avoid that accident. That's just really
heads up. And it's hard to see through these things, right? These big spoilers behind these trucks, you can't see a lot, but they were heads up, paying attention. They saw cars getting a little crossed up, as we say, and did a good job at just finding the asphalt. Where's the pavement?
How far can I go to the left, right?
Get me away from this thing. And that's really their best shot at getting through it.
Yeah, diving all the way to the left like they did, that wouldn't have worked at most places in which we race. But there's a lot of room down there in that area to avoid trouble. Unfortunately, Ty Majeski couldn't avoid it. His night's done. What a beautiful sight, huh? Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Chase the possibilities. Unlock discovery at every turn. Goodyear, more driven.
Pit road's open. A lot of strategy could be played right here, guys. We could see some guys come to pit road, forego those stage points, grab some track position, and we see that happening in the back half of the field. First taker is Grant Enfinger in the 98 truck.
After a nearly 8-minute red flag, teams dive into pit lane, and you see Enfinger gas and go. Others choosing tires. Enfinger, or excuse me, Ben Rhodes with pretty significant chassis adjustments as well. You look at the 40 of Chastain. There's Rafael Lassard.
Matt Crafton going for 4 tires. Varying strategies, Vince. Some of them electing fuel only, a lot of 2 tires, 4 tires, and then of course the front half of the field didn't even pit. So pick your play, Joey Logano. What do you like here?
I don't know. I don't know.
You're the
what's
driver,
gonna happen.
right?
There's so many. I guess I didn't do enough research or math to figure out what the strategy of this race can be. But obviously those guys can make it to the end of the second stage. I believe the leaders that stayed out that are trying to get points right now will have to pit and will lose the track position they're in. So you'll see some cycling going on here as there's only 3 laps to go in the stage.
As we saw in our race analysis, they could go 36 to 38 laps. Obviously 2 stages is 40. With these caution flag laps, I'm wondering if maybe someone's thinking they might stretch it to the end of stage 2, but you have to remember we had the pace laps prior to the start of the race that also burned fuel off.
Let's go downstairs to the Advent Healthcare Center. Jamie Little is there.
And Austin Wayne self has been checked and released, and I know you're okay, but what exactly happened? You guys seem to be so calm there, and then it all went sideways.
Yeah, I thought it was going really well. I ran the bottom for a little bit, saw my Chevy guys up front, had some help from the back. I thought I gave enough room here. Looked like a good push from the 38. He'd seen that before from him. Big wreck, yeah. So it's unfortunate. I mean, that's what, you know, there's a good chance that might happen here at Daytona. We all know that when we come here, so I'm not too upset. A little disappointed we didn't get to race a little more. I thought our Go Texan AM Technical Solutions truck was really fast. I'm just excited that we got Vegas next week, and I hope everybody else is all right. But yeah, we'll hit them hard next week.
Well, he apologized on the radio, if that means anything to you.
Yeah, I'm not upset. It's racing.
All right, we'll see you in Vegas. Thank you.
Well, that's a great interview. I mean, we know how easily things can happen. It's really also easy to assess blame. You know, the push went wrong in the tri-oval. Todd Gilliland was one that made the push, but yet that's part of this package. It's part of this world that we live in here at Daytona. So
you got to know that. You line up into one of these super speedway races, whether you're in a truck or a cup car or an Xfinity car, the bottom line is you got a half chance of finishing this thing. And, you know, things are going to happen, sometimes of your own doing, sometimes just wrong place, wrong time. You know, like Austin Wayne there was. So it's just really tough spot to be in. It happens. He has a good attitude about it. Move on to next week. Nothing you can do about it now, so just move forward.
Okay, driver, let me tell you something. You're going to have to pull those belts tight. We got a one-lap shootout here to see who gets points and who wins stage one. What about that? How do you feel about that call?
You're going to see a shove fest right here. You're going to see a lot of bumpers bumping into each other, a lot of trucks moving around down these straightaways. And hopefully not another crash, but there's a lot of points right on the line here. Stage wins are big. You get a playoff point that carries all the way through the playoffs on top of the 10 regular season points. These truckers know that.
And, you know, you got to commend NASCAR, Vince, for getting this thing cleaned up. And the fans in the stands, we got a great crowd here in Daytona. The fans in the stands are going to see a great one-lap shootout to win a stage.
And here's a good question as well. You got two Kyle Busch Motorsports trucks up front. Do they pull the old, I call it the okie dokie, but call it whatever you want, where the teammates come down in front of each other and try to control the race that way? It's one lap, though.
I'd say 90% chance you're going to see the old okie dokie.
The okie dokie
I like
here.
that.
The 51's coming down.
Herbst has led them all so far from the pole. Riley Herbst, the young man from Las Vegas, just 20 years old, won the pole earlier today in qualifying and has led all 18 laps so far. And when we take the green, there will be one to go in stage one. It's a one-lap shootout.
But Joey, you know the okie dokie. It's not easy to pull off, and these guys aren't very experienced. You're going to lose some momentum on the bottom by waiting. But it looks like maybe they pulled it off.
You know, and the only move that Johnny Sauter had right there, pushing the 18 truck, was to try to push him to where he couldn't pull the okie dokie and got him stuck up there, but just is what it is. And now they're going to have to you know, try to battle it out as they come here to the stage end.
You know, when you watch and listen to our race, you hear complicated terms like okie dokie, and you have to explain what, I'm not sure which part was the okie and which part was the dokie, but it worked out well for Kyle Busch Motorsports as Riley Herbst leads and Christian Eckes is behind. That's Tyler Ankrum, the first truck on the outside.
Whoa, Sauter got loose there.
Coming to the end of stage one, and it is going to be Riley Herbst.
Put it down. That concludes stage one.
Wins stage one.
That was beautiful. Some great racing there to the end of stage one.
And the outside lane started getting hooked up there right off of turn 4 with some good pushes and good shoves to get to the outside of Riley Herbst here, but not quite enough.
First career stage win for Herbst. He led them all in stage one. He had to work for it to get it.
Welcome back to Daytona. As you see, pit stops underway here in the Truck Series, and Johnny Sauter slides through his pit box, misses it, has to back up. It was supposed to be a fuel-only stop. Meanwhile, the 23 of Brett Moffitt in his box, fuel as well. Alan?
51 on the bottom of your screen. Fuel only for the driver who's led the entire race so far, and also the 26 of Tyler Ankrum nearly stole a stage win there. Fuel only for the 26.
Yeah, so 11 of the drivers that were still rolling. Remember, Austin Wayne Self and Ty Majeski already out of the race, but 11 had not pitted, and they all came to pit road. And here's Johnny Sauter. Just missed it.
Just didn't have a good visual on where his pit was. The sign wasn't out. We're hearing from Johnny on his radio, and that's exactly what it looked like. And Joey, even if the sign was out, the first pit stop of the year, it gets a little bit confusing seeing all those boards, doesn't it?
It is too, and you know, something about the first race of the year, someone just might not have assigned that position or maybe forgot, and I guarantee you they won't forget again the rest of the year after that. What I'm surprised is he wasted so much time trying to back up into his stall. Why not put tires on it at that point?
Let's go back to the Advent Healthcare Center. Jamie.
And Ty Majeski, scary moment for him, just 10 laps in, and we see you flip on your lid, and you were stuck there for a while. What was that moment like?
Yeah, nothing like I've ever experienced before. Just unfortunate for our night to get ended that early. We had a pretty fast Plan B sales, Nissan Motorsports Chevy. Just, again, unfortunate. That's just a product of this racing. We had a plan to maybe get out of there if we could, but we're kind of rolling with the bottom there and kind of in a safe spot, and that outside was just hanging on my quarter panel for laps there, and just couldn't quite break away, so it's unfortunate. But our season starts next weekend in Vegas. Appreciate the opportunity and ready to make the most of it next week.
What is that moment like, though, as you're stuck in there, strapped in a 5-point harness, waiting for help to come get you?
It's obviously not a good feeling. You know, I'm not hurt, thankfully, just my pride. So it's all good. We'll live to race another day and go get them next weekend.
Glad you're okay, Ty. Thank you. Vince?
Yeah, certainly no fault of his own, but it ends the night early for Ty Majeski.
Welcome back to coverage of the NASCAR Gander RVs and Outdoors Truck Series from Daytona International Speedway, where Stage 1 has just concluded. Keelan Vincey alongside Phil Parsons, Todd Bodine, Riley Herbst. He was the big stage winner after that stage. So far, so good for him, right, Todd?
So far, so good. He did exactly what I tell the rookies to do. Don't do anything. He held it wide open. He stayed on the yellow line. He didn't do anything wrong.
We didn't have a stage without any drama, though. So
not at all.
This is the finish. Now watch Tyler Ankrum on the outside. He's going to get a bit of a push from his teammate, Brett Moffitt. Turns him sideways almost into those KBM trucks on the inside. But that was bump drafting not doing great, but we saw some bump drafting that didn't do well at all.
Oh, you are certainly right about that. With about 5 to go in Stage 1, a big incident, obviously, for Ty Majeski. Phil, I know you've been in this situation before, upside down in a race vehicle. What is that like?
It's not any fun, but you can see Ty Majeski. Todd Gilliland was just trying to help. That's all he was doing, was just trying to help. Ty was an innocent bystander. He's just riding along there, and the 22 of Austin Wayne Self got shoved down into Ty. The flipping is not a big deal. Yeah. It's the landing that's a big deal. Unfortunately, that truck had a soft landing.
Yeah, he didn't hit anything hard, and that's what hurts when you hit something hard. So fortunately, Ty's good.
Well, we certainly are glad to see that he is okay. We want to send it back to the racetrack, to the guys calling all the action, and of course, Vince Welch, Michael Waltrip, and Joey Logano.
Thank you very much. And getting ready for this restart, and we had 6 who had previously pitted, of course, did not pit, and those are the 6 that are out front now. And it begins with Grant Enfinger on the inside and Rafael Lassard on the outside. This is Stage 2 at Daytona.
Got some new characters up front here.
There you see Sheldon Creed giving a good push to Enfinger. They're going to clear Lassard on that outside lane. Have we learned anything, Joey? We've seen that the bump drafting through the tri-oval does not work. Are we going to clean that up, or do you think we'll continue to try to perfect it?
Try to perfect it. I like that. Who knows? I think at the end of the race, I think it comes down to everyone pushing again and probably having more crashes. It'll be interesting to see just kind of as this stage kind of keeps going along. Is there some patience right now? Or is the top lane going to keep trying to push hard, work in the side draft as much as possible, trying to maintain with that bottom lane? It's so hard to make ground especially when you have cars 3 wide.
Look at Moffitt. He took it to the top and goes through the tri-oval wide in that area of the racetrack and loses ground up there. There's Johnny Sauter after that. Had that issue on pit road.
23's lined up with you. I don't know that he'll stay there. Here he is. He's going to give you a push here.
Riding with Austin Hill, and that's Friesen.
Yeah, hang on you. Off.
And I don't know if you can hear the motor very well there with the spotter talking, but that's something that's going on in this draft. These trucks, they punch such a big hole in the air, and when you're in the middle of that draft, you're not using much throttle. You know, the leader's wide open. The first 3-4 cars are wide open, but when you're back here, let's listen to him here. You probably hear him lift.
Yeah, he's just managing that distance by playing with the throttle.
And that's what he's doing. He doesn't want to get too close. Right there, he's so far back in the draft, he's not really doing much to contribute to moving the front cars. So he's just trying to make sure when there's big checkups, when all of a sudden the trucks check up every now and again, like right here, he has enough room to react.
Listen how much he's off the gas. That's what causes issues. You lose your momentum. You see the trucks, the big spoilers. You can't see through those. You really don't know what's happening a couple of trucks up ahead.
And they're going close to 200 miles an hour, and you're 3 feet, 4 feet from the truck in front of you. When they lift even 5-10 miles an hour, you can't react quick enough.
Grant Enfinger leading the way with Sheldon Creed second and Enfinger's teammate Ben Rhodes in third. The first truck on the outside is the 4 of Rafael Lassard, the Kyle Busch Motorsports pilot, 18-year-old rookie. On the backstretch, headed toward turn 3. Enfinger coming off that career year a season ago and his career best numbers in just about every category. But the big disappointment for Enfinger, even though he was the regular season champion, is that he did not get to victory lane. He has won on the Super Speedway before, won at Talladega in his very first Truck Series win.
You know, and here we go again. These stages are short. 10 to go. Things are happening quick.
That means you got to go, right?
I mean, I think so, yeah.
What about Rafael Lassard in the 4 truck and Zane Smith in the 21 truck? They're doing a nice job up on the outside. You talked about making moves, try things. That's when you learn right there. When you get up on top, you're not just following the yellow line. You're seeing how that draft affects your truck. That's a real quality lesson for that young man.
And this is where, if you're on the outside line or in these trucks, you need to be able to do your job in the line, which means side drafting that bottom line when it's most important. If you're second, push at the right times, be able to do things. And here we see a truck that has an issue.
Yeah, that's Zane Smith. He's the one I just mentioned running that upper lane with Lassard in the 4 truck.
Watch it. This gets booted out of the line, right?
I feel like something must have went wrong with his truck. He pulls up.
Yeah, I thought maybe Crafton got into the back end of him, but it is an issue for the 21 of Zane Smith, and evidently the window net has come down. So Smith will have to come to pit road.
Stay out.
Oh, they're telling him to stay out.
Stay out until they give us a flag.
They will.
Coming in line, going to come right to your bumper here.
Well, eventually he'll get the flag to tell him to come to pit road and take care of that issue, safety issue.
Whoa, look at Johnny Sauter. It tells you how much of a handful these trucks are. Sauter, an experienced veteran, he slipped right up off that yellow line. If there's a truck on your outside, that causes a big problem, obviously.
And the 21 team has been notified that they are to come to pit road and address that window net. Yeah, initially I thought maybe he just got punted out of line, but Crafton did not get into him at all. And then we saw the window net down. And there is Matt Crafton in the 88, right about where he started this race. He started 10th. He's currently running 9th. And there's Christian Eckes in the 18 right behind him.
Matt's been all over the place. I don't like bump drafting.
Big save.
Yeah, but you see Moffitt in that 23 truck. He has been the most aggressive at the side draft. Look how tight he is on Friesen, trying to pull him back. You know, when you get that close to someone's quarter panel, it acts as an air brake to that car on the inside and propels that outside lane. So when I say doing your job on the outside to propel that lane, that's where those experienced drivers are going to have a better chance at moving it forward. It's still going to be really hard to do it.
Here's Jamie Little with the Zane Smith situation.
Zane Smith comes in, they count him down. Kevin Mannion on the box. The window net did indeed, like Vince, you reported that his net came down on one side. He's trying to pull out. They think they've got it. The NASCAR official taking a look and gives him a thumbs up.
Well, this is a whole lot like what we saw with Derek Kraus earlier. He can overcome this. It's early enough in the race. There's a stage break coming in just 8 laps. He's going to lose a lap for sure, but he could possibly get that free pass at the next stage end, not ending his night.
You're watching the Gander RV and Outdoors Truck Series from Daytona. Back to Daytona, coming down to the final laps here in stage 2, and we stayed green despite Cody Robaugh getting out of shape and going around. And watch, Robaugh is a great save. Had a lot of space to work with, fortunately. Just got a little loose and bam, around, and
I guess
was able to save it, keep it off the wall.
I guess you call that a save. It's a spin, but he didn't hit anything. But you remember a minute ago when Johnny Sauter wandered up the hill? That's what happened to Robaugh. You just maybe clip the yellow line, the truck wants to go up, you crank it to the left, and around it goes.
Well, that and also that outside car gets closer to your door, and when that side force goes away, around you go.
And it'll get your attention, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is a slide for life right there.
Coming to 2 to go here in stage 2. That's Grant Infinger out front and his teammate Ben Rhodes right behind him. Pits closed over these final 2 laps of the stage.
And right now the question is, does any of those lead cars on the bottom make a move? You got 2 teammates running 1 and 2. You got to expect them to stay in line. If you're behind them, you're going to try to pull them apart and make a run at it. Here you see the top lane trying to do something.
There's Austin Hill.
Still thinking about it.
Teasing that outside lane, but sticking to the bottom. Pretty good momentum there for the 2 truck of Creed. Making a nice move. He's got Crafton pushing.
Yeah, that is Sheldon Creed, the lead truck on that outside line, with Matt Crafton right behind him, but no match right now for the inside line as Infinger brings it across. 1 lap remaining here in stage 2.
Thor Sports 1 and 2. Teammates probably content here to push each other to the stage finish.
Tyler Ankrum 3rd in line, not a teammate, we might add.
And those are the trucks I'm looking to make a move. Is 3rd, 4th place. Are they going to pull up in front of, who's that on the outside there? Is that Friesen?
Yeah, that's Friesen trying to make his way to the front. Started in the back. He's done a nice job tonight.
Yeah, Stuart Friesen started all the way back in 28th. Inside the top 10, and here they come to get the green and white checkers to bring stage 2 to a close, and it's going to be Grant Infinger with his 11th career stage victory.
They made it. They made it to the stage end, and great job by Grant Infinger. You mentioned it earlier, Vince. He's our regular season champion from 2019. The playoffs didn't go good, but the reason why it was the regular season champion were moves like that, getting those stage points. He won the most of anyone last year.
Surprised that we didn't wad him up there a couple of times. It looked like it was about to happen, but they got it to the end of stage 2, and Grant Infinger claims his first stage win of the season.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. Stage 2 is complete. Grant Infinger is your winner as he pulls into his pit box. Handling is pretty good. He wants an air pressure adjustment and 4 tires on the 98 truck. His teammate, the 99 of Ben Rhodes. Fuel, they want to keep that track position. That's what it's all about. They're holding him, filling it full. Alan, we go down to you.
A little tight for the 16 on the bottom of your screen. Fuel only for the 16. Look over to your right. That's the 26 of Tyler Ankrum. At times tonight, he has described his truck as perfect. He says it's getting a little tight, but they're having trouble there on the front of that truck. 2 tires for the 26.
Well, the track position's so important, and you see the different strategies. Some taking no tires, others 2. Couple of 4s. All right, the strategy of coming to pit road and what kind of service you choose, pros and cons of some of these options.
Well, Joey, you've talked about it, and we know how hard it is to pass, so you want your track position, but I think obviously the whole field pitted, so pitting here is a no-brainer. What do you do when you pit? Do you get gas only and try to be the fastest off pit road to get that track position? Or do you think tires were the best call? Because, you know, these trucks have been a handful. You saw veteran Johnny Sauter almost spin out coming off turn 4. I want 4 tires and a tank of gas on this pit stop. Give up a little track position if I have to, so that on that last stop, I'm ready just to get a little fuel, and that'll be the fastest way for me to get to the checkered flag.
Right, and this is where the strategy is really going to come into play. I agree. Give me 4 Mr. Feel Goods and let's go. But the strategy of this, 58 laps to go, we saw earlier they can go around 38 laps on gas. The window to make this thing to the end is going to happen quick. You can pit and do a fuel-only stop without going down a lap. Do some of these alliances, do you see the Chevys, do you see the Fords, you see a few Toyotas working together, do you see them pit as soon as their window opens, do a gas and go, get themselves out of that big group, take your risk away of crashing in the big pack, control your own destiny a little bit more, and then when a caution comes out, everyone else still has to pit to make it to the end, you cycle back to the lead.
See that tire being wheeled back out of the 40 camp, we're told, of Chastain. Zane Smith got the free pass. The 19 of Derek Kraus penalized for too fast exiting.
Welcome back to coverage of the NASCAR Gander RV and Outdoors Truck Series from Daytona International Speedway. Welcome into our race day studio. Caitlin Vinci alongside Todd Bodine, Phil Parsons. Stage winners already so far from this race. Let's take a look at those guys. Riley Herbst getting the stage 1 win, followed by Grant Enfinger was able to get it done in stage 2. Those ThorSport teammates finishing 1-2 with Grant Enfinger and Ben Rhodes. Not a bad showing for them, Phil.
Yeah, Caitlin, no surprise either. Remember, Grant Enfinger was our regular season point champion last year. He had the most stage points. That's what helped him get that title. Looking like he's going to try to go down the same route again this year.
Yeah, you know, and I said earlier, Grant was the guy that we talked about a lot last year, being up front, just not getting those wins. So, well, maybe tonight's the night. He's up front again. Maybe he can get it done.
One more stage to go. This race has been relatively tame so far, all things considered. Do you think that continues in this last going, guys?
They're trying awful hard to make some stuff happen. I'll tell you, these guys, it looks like to me like the trucks are harder to drive this year for some reason, Phil. I don't quite understand. They're not stable at all.
Yeah, the guys in the booth are talking about how those trucks are dancing around, and Michael said there's no way they can make it to the end of the stage without a caution, and they did, but we're going to see some caution flags in this stage for sure.
We know if patterns continue, it always gets really exciting towards the end of this race. So let's send it back to the racetrack, to the guys calling all of the action in the booth, and Vince Welch.
It's Daytona. Of course we're going to have cautions, right? And we're going to have more than one, and it's going to be all the way. Remember, last year was the longest race in series history here at Daytona.
We can top it tonight. These trucks are evil to drive, like Todd Bodine says. We're going to see cautions. Too much at stake here to get a win at Daytona. They're going to push harder and harder as we get toward the checkered.
Chastain and Sauter penalized for uncontrolled tire, and 18 Christian Eckes penalized for going through too many boxes on that last pit stop. Final stage underway with Ben Rhodes on the inside. That's Austin Hill on the outside.
Well, there you see that truck on the outside got shuffled. That's something you can't let happen. You have to keep that middle closed because there's no one coming to save him right now.
The team is so frustrated with Todd Gilliland. He just didn't do his job. He had great track position. The team had done a good job to get him up front here to start this final stage, and he just threw it all away there.
That's the 98 of Enfinger, second in line on the outside. Stuart Friesen, second in line on the inside. So it's Austin Hill and Ben Rhodes, 1-2.
Don't push him through the tri-oval, please.
That was the view from Grant Enfinger's truck.
What about the outside lane taking the lead?
That's what I was just thinking. This is the best we've seen the outside lane roll here on any start.
Hill gets down in front of Rhodes to take the top spot, and Enfinger is right beside him on the outside. Battle up front and 3 wide further back in the pack.
Oh, we got some moves being made now.
You know, we saw in the Busch Clash, Jimmy Johnson had the heart rate monitor on. I'm glad I don't have it on right now. I'm a mess. These trucks racing that close together. I just know what's coming ahead.
You see this side by side in the front row, and you know, at this point, you know, if you're the lead of either line, yeah, you're just relying on what's going on behind you. You're wide open. You're trying to side draft when you can to maintain position and being side by side on the front row. But you're really relying on not just the cars directly behind you, but the next 3 or 4 cars directly in line to do their job and push your lane forward to hopefully be able to clear what is the bottom line that's been so strong.
Johnny Sauter, the last truck there on the outside lane. Remember, Sauter penalized for that uncontrolled tire, had to go to the rear, and tough to make your way back up through there, but he's got plenty of time to do it. The 3-time winner, more than 50 laps remaining, early laps here in the final stage at Daytona.
You can see they're broken apart into 2 packs, the side-by-side battle for the lead, and then these guys trailing just back far enough where if something goes wrong, they can get on the brakes and miss the mess. That's a strategy. That second pack is purposely laying back because they see the action that's going on ahead of them.
And we see in these races a lot, and all super speedway races, no matter what it is, there is a pack that rides back there, and it is a way to get a solid maybe top 10 finish, maybe top 5 after everyone crashes. You typically don't see anybody that rides around in the back win the race. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to win, or are you trying to get what is a solid finish?
The second truck in the outside lane is the 18-year-old rookie Rafael Lessard. Alan?
Yeah, and he's doing great. Remember, the first time he ever saw this track, Vince, was yesterday when he walked into it for the first time. And Michael earlier talked about all the different situations where you can learn out there on the racetrack. Well, it's also an opportunity for Rafael to show off. The team told him, look, if you can show that you can hang and not be out of control, other drivers will work with you. Well, look where he is right now, running fourth late in stage 3 right now. People are working with him. He's showing what he can do, and that's what's important in this race right now.
You got that right, and he's doing what Joey Logano suggested he would tell the rookies. Try some things, make some moves, and so far, A+. He's just been able to check every box that he's tried to work on here at Daytona.
Oh, Johnny Sauter got loose, and the others with an evasive move to keep from getting collected.
Like I said, I am a big fan of rookies making moves out there, because at some point, if you are the leader coming down to 5, 6, 10 to go, whatever it is, you're going to have to make a move. And if you've never made one before, how do you know what to do? You're most likely not going to win the race. So you got to go out there and try things.
How about Brett Moffitt, Todd?
Yeah, Vince, I was noticing he's dropping back a little bit, and I got looking at the front of his truck, and it's way up in the air. That is not normal for a truck to lead a draft like that. It should be sucked to the racetrack. I think he's probably got a broken shim in the shock, and it's just not holding it down. Very unfortunate, but we see him here leading this outside line. It's unusual to see somebody be able to do that.
Yeah, that's unusual.
Have some pushers too, isn't he?
Yeah,
he definitely going to have the pushers to help, but this is definitely going to hurt his chances when he gets to if he gets the opportunity to be at the front of this race at the end.
Remember, he was involved in that earlier accident, had some contact early in the race in that incident that sent Ty Majeski onto his lid. I wonder if they probably, with that contact, if there is some issue, maybe it happened during that situation.
That's strange. Good eye, Todd. That's why we love you guys in the studio. You've seen these trucks. You've won truck races, and Moffitt's truck definitely doesn't look normal. But a lot of them aren't going to look normal in a bit.
Infinger and Hill battling for the lead at the front.
And you see him come off turn 4 a second ago. That is the spot where no truck, car, whatever you have here doesn't want to handle at that point. That's where you're asking the most out of your vehicle. And where you see the trucks dance or move around a little bit off that corner, and that's where I see some trouble happening at some point.
You know, you watch synchronized swimming. That always looks so beautiful and so majestic. This is synchronized racing, and it just doesn't look that smooth to me. There's so much going on in this pack.
You watch synchronized swimming?
Yes, and I liken it to this draft.
Joey, you're going to learn some things about Michael that you probably wish you didn't know during the course of this night. Inside of 50 to go here at Daytona. Austin Hill, the winner of this race a year ago, out front. but being challenged. That's Grant Infinger, first truck on the outside. Rafael Lazard right behind him.
And you see finally that bottom lane pulled ahead, not by much, as Grant Infinger goes back to the outside of Austin Hill.
How about our Xfinity fastest laps of the night?
That makes it hard to run inches apart. Oh, got a tire coming apart. There's some debris there. A little bit of smoke. Wonder what that was all about.
How about Angela Ruck running inside the top 10? Currently running 9th in that bright orange 00. Remember, she finished 8th here a year ago in this race.
She's doing a great job, and man, so much movement in these trucks.
I tell you what, Stuart Friesen has his hands full right now. I watch him come up that corner every time and gets sliding up the racetrack, gets so close to that outside lane, and all it takes is just a little tag in the left rear, and that truck's going to go around whoever, him or the guy on the outside. So that is a truck right now that he doesn't look like he's got great handling capabilities right now.
Down to Allen on Austin Hill in that 16 truck.
And we know Austin Hill knows how to win. Last year's winner in this race in that 16. But the only coaching he's getting on the radio right now is don't get too far out in front. Don't get too far out in front. Joey, how much control as a driver do you have over that, especially when you're the leader?
Well, you got a gas pedal and a brake pedal, so you have quite a bit of control of what's going on in the situation. But you're relying so much on the spotter, and his spotter, Eddie DeHaan, is a very experienced spotter. It knows what's going on out there. And if you get too far out in front, you don't have the push behind you anymore that keeps that momentum going, and all that air falls back onto that rear spoiler, and next thing you know, you get overtook by Grant Infinger in this spot. But that's something you got to try to do.
And this is what you were talking about a bit ago, the handling of the 52.
Oh.
I mean, that is so close.
I told you, man, that thing's out of control.
Sheldon Creed saying, "Where are you going?"
Well, it's just loose. Couldn't turn it.
Stewart's saying, give me room down here. He's stuck. He can't get out of that position either. He's stuck on the bottom. You got cars right on the outside. You got cars behind you, cars in front of you. What do you do?
You know, the thing that I think is really important to understand is how much you're looking in those mirrors. Like, you're looking in the mirror half the time, Joey, you would guess, seeing what's going on behind you.
If you're the leader, the whole time.
Yeah.
If I'm the leader of a super speedway race, if that trailing car behind me hits the wall, I think I'll follow him all the way into the wall. I don't even look forward in those times, because you're constantly just looking at the runs and where they're coming from.
Guys, we talk about the yellow line as your friend here. I think these guys would like to stay next to the yellow line, but I don't think, as Joey was talking about with Stuart Friesen, I don't think their trucks will stay down there, and that could be a cause for a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, well, almost was in that particular incident as Friesen got up into the side of Sheldon Creed's truck. 17 laps down here in the final stage. Riley Herbst won stage 1. Grant Infinger won stage 2. And Infinger continues out front here in the season opener at Daytona. Having fun tonight. Can't wait till Sunday. The Great American Race, the Daytona 500, kicking off the 2020 NASCAR Cup season. Sunday at 2:30 Eastern. Pre-race begins at 1 o'clock on Fox. The Daytona 500.
It's the best day of the year. My favorite day of the year, the Daytona 500.
Sure as if you win.
You both know that feeling. Aerial coverage tonight provided by Goodyear. Chase the possibilities, unlock discovery at every turn. Goodyear, more driven. You like this angle? You like that up top angles? You see Fogelman down on pit road getting some help.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the blimp view. I like being able to see up top and see where the runs are coming from, how that works. Oh, he lost his hood.
Yeah, his hood broke. I'm going to say something, Vince, and I can't believe it. There's 38 laps to go, and I'm actually not up on the edge of my seat nervous about what's going on. These guys have sorted it out, got a single file line, burning off some laps. My next question, Joey, I don't know what your opinion is, but these guys could come to pit road any lap now and make it to the checker. Do you try to get that pit stop out of the way once you're in that window? You got to plan for some overtime finish overtime attempts here at Daytona, which could burn a lot of gas. I like to be inside maybe 30 laps to go, but as soon as I'm comfortable, I want to come to pit road and get that over with. And let me just give you a little heads up on that. These guys sometimes struggle getting to pit road on under green flag conditions because you can't see through the truck. Somebody lets off up ahead of you, and there's a chain reaction crash.
Jamie, how about Brett Moffitt?
Well, earlier we heard there could be some concern with the 23-year-old Brett Moffitt if he has maybe something going on with a shock. And I just talked to Spencer Gallagher. He's the team manager, and he said he definitely thinks something is going on, but they're just going to ride it out. Nothing they can do at this point. Truck is high right now, and he's also, Brett's saying, very tight, and they're looking to pit at this point in about 9 laps.
Oh, so there's that strategy play we're talking about, and as a Chevrolet team, you think they're all working together or something, and there's a huge checkup into that corner.
Yeah,
I don't know what just happened there.
Probably a bump draft going wrong up toward the front, but you can see the head of steam it gave Jordan Anderson in that orange hooded truck there, the second one in line. He made a big move into the corner.
But the strategy piece, going back to that, you know, if you can get everyone to come down pit road together, most likely it's going to be a fuel-only stop, just enough to get to the end of this thing. That all sounds well and good on paper, but as soon as one car makes a mistake, slides the tires, then you got to put 4 on. Now you're out there on your own with no drafting help. You're going to go down a lap very quick as the draft is going, you know, a couple seconds faster, and you can go on your own. So there's a lot of risk in that move, but the reward is that you can take control of this race as a group. And that'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I'm excited to see this green flag cycle if it gets to that point.
Whoa, I don't know.
If it gets to that point.
Thank you. That's what I was thinking. That exit of turn 4 is treacherous, isn't it?
And Moffitt's been the most aggressive at going out there and just trying to make something of it. He hasn't had any success yet at doing it, but he's been making the moves, and some of the lack of success can be because that splitter is way up in the air right now. You know that's not where you want it to be. There could be a lot of drag added to that car where he's not really good as a leader. You know, when you're hiding in the draft, that truck might go all right, but as he pulls out into clean air like that, it's not the most efficient car.
Angela Ruck is around and into the wall hard. Christian Eckes gets a piece of it.
Hold the wheel straight, hold the wheel straight.
Tate Fogelman, part of it.
That's a lot of fire.
And the 28 of Doza, Brett Moffitt. There's the 23, the former champ.
I just think as these tires get a little wear on them and they heat up, these trucks are a handful. They don't even handle good when they're running in a single file line. Somebody made a mistake.
See Fogelman getting out of his truck, and the 28 of Doza back there as well. Here is Brett Moffitt limping to pit road.
The splitter's knocked up even more now. You can get right rear quarter issues too.
Well, I think he can continue. Get aggressive here with this front splitter. I'd like to see a couple of guys jumping on that, trying to bend it down.
I mean, at that point, your main goal is clearance the tires, making sure you don't have fender rubs when you go back out there.
Keep an eye on the 00 of Angela Ruck.
Yeah,
a little contact with Derek Kraus, and that got it going.
She tried to squeeze in a tight position there, and wasn't quite enough room for her to do it effectively. Doza bounces off her, and then
look at the fire coming out of the 02. And the 28 ran right in the back of her. I don't know what that's about, but the 02, man, you see just you don't know what happened. If it knocked the carburetor off as the fuel just gets on the headers, and boy, that's a big fire.
Several vehicles taking contact and varying degrees of damage. Certainly the 02 of Tate Fogelman is the most seriously damaged, but Angela Ruck and her truck, quite a bit of contact.
Look at Matt Crafton barely sneaked by, but
Moffitt almost got by there, but
yeah,
clipped in the left rear.
18 truck of Christian Eckes with a little bit of damage. Nice job there by Corbin Forrester slipping by.
And does anyone find this ironic that on the 28 is the fire department?
Looked like he's in a hurry to get there.
He was.
That's a pretty tough break for Tate Fogelman.
Watch in this sequence the 88 of Matt Crafton. How does he get through?
Guns it.
Oh, so tight.
Yeah, experienced move by Matt Kraft is seeing the crash happening and assuming and guessing which direction it's going to go. And sometimes the best way through these things is not lifting and hitting the brakes. You got to get through it. And he drove his car right through it. And there comes the fire truck.
11 trucks involved in this one,
including Brett Moffitt. Man, he's had a tough night. Todd pointed out he had some suspension issues in the front. Now he's got damage on about all 4 corners. There's the 23 truck. What they're doing is working diligently to try to clear the damaged vehicle policy. Get all the tires clearanced, get that splitter back down on the ground, hopefully, and try to make some ground. We saw in the clash on Sunday, you can take a really torn up car and go really fast with it if you get in the right situation. So they're not going to give up for sure.
Well, and you want to just keep it rolling, Mike, because you never know by the time we get down to the white flag or getting close to checkers, there's going to be a lot more damaged vehicles would be my guess, and you might just find yourself in the mix. You see the 18 of Christian Eckes, who started 3rd tonight, repairing some damage as well. Pit road is open. We'll go back downstairs and pick it up with Jamie.
And that's Grant Empfinger in the yellow 98, bringing it into his pit box, having a great night tonight, hits his marks. They've been making air pressure adjustments tonight, and that's been working, and it looks like that's what they'll do again. 99, his teammate Ben Rhodes, fuel only here. He's been a little bit tight tonight. They wait on the fuel, and they exit together, Alan.
A late call for the 16 on the bottom left of your screen for 2 tires and fuel. Going to wait for the crew chief to tell them when to leave. The 38, a fuel only stop. They're saying stick to the plan, fuel only for the 38 of Todd Gilliland.
Well, it looks like one almost went around there. That was the 15 of Tanner Gray. Busy on pit road. Jesse Little having to back up.
Jesse was right in the middle of that crash, did a nice job making his way through it in that beautiful number 97 truck.
Cool looking truck.
It is.
Yeah, Little was inside the top 10 when they all came to pit road. You see just over 30 to go here in the season opener at Daytona. The Gander RV and Outdoors Truck Series, the first of 23 races.
It's all about drafting. They're going to be 3 wide. They're going to be inches apart.
Hard to the outside wall, a big crash collects 4, 5, and 4 trucks.
Austin Hill in the 16 will win his first career race, and he does it at Daytona. Austin Hill would like nothing more than to do it again. He currently rides inside the top 10. Had 2 races in the state of Florida last year, and Austin Hill won them both. The season opener here and the season finale at Homestead. Glad to have you with us. The Gander RV and Outdoors Truck Series with Michael Waltrip and Joey Logano. I'm Vince Welch, Alan Cavana, and Jamie Little down on pit road. And you see their upper left-hand portion of your screen, 30 to go, under caution because of an 11 vehicle incident. And let's get downstairs, check in with Jamie.
Well, this is a good time for drivers to take a little breath, talk to their teams a little bit. And Ben Rhodes in the 99 truck talking to his team, wondering what he could do better on the next restart.
EJ, that last restart, what do you see we could have done different there to get more help? I gave him the wave out the window, but he just never got to my bumper.
I mean, you can't make a guy be there, you know?
So they're basically telling him you did what you're supposed to do. You can't help the guy behind you. So he's just hoping that those hand signals out the window are going to help so he can stick in the pack on the restart, right, Joey?
Yeah, just sounds good to me. You know, yeah, Ben's doing a good job out there. I think just staying towards the front, keeping himself out of a mess, and I think that's key right now. He's got a great spotter with TJ Majors. He's my spotter on Sundays and is very, very good at super speedway racing, understanding the draft, and I think overall he's going to end up in a good spot if he kind of just listens to TJ. That's what I do a lot of times, is just listen to that picture that he's painting and trying to understand what's going on behind me, and trying to make the moves along with that. So staying calm towards the end of this thing will be key.
Good look at Ben Rhodes in that silver truck, and of course the silver honoring the ThorSport 25th anniversary. So all 4 of the ThorSport trucks have the silver hoods. Great to have you with us, Joey. Hope you're having fun. And Michael Waltrip for the season opener here in the Gander Truck Series. And it's been exciting so far, and I think it's going to get a little more crazy before it's all said and done.
I'm having a blast up here. To me, super speedway racing is one of the most fun forms of motorsports to watch, but also be a part of. There's so much strategy. There's so much that goes into this. Some drivers come to these things and say, oh, it's a crapshoot. As long as I don't get in a crash, I have a chance at it. Yeah, maybe sometimes that works for you, but there's no secret that the best super speedway racers most of the time find themselves up front at the end of the race when it matters. Doesn't mean you don't always get caught up in a crash and bad luck, that stuff like that happens, but the ones that understand it the best find a way to be there most of the time.
And you watched the duel last night on FS1, and you saw what was great racing, 3 wide, even 4 wide a couple of times, and you guys just look like you're so under control. Now things go wrong, obviously, as we saw a lot in the clash, but these trucks just look more difficult to drive. Would you say that's a fair statement? Like they just don't handle as well?
I don't know. It's hard to say if you're not in it, right? I mean, there's a lot of things and different variables that can be, causing their handling issues. I can tell you from being inside those Cup cars right now, there's a lot of times that those things don't handle very well. But you also have the best stock car racers in the world in them that can mask a lot of what looks like a bad handling race car.
We're thinking a lot about racing here in Daytona this weekend, but a huge day of hoops coming your way tomorrow on Fox. First, it's action from the Big Ten. Purdue and Ohio State at 11:30 Eastern, followed by a Big East clash, Georgetown and 19th ranked Butler. Both great games, and you'll see them on Fox, the Fox Sports app. College basketball tomorrow. 29 to go here at Daytona. The season opener, the Gander RV and Outdoors Truck Series. There's the Xfinity Series season opener tomorrow, and then the Daytona 500 on Sunday. Can't wait. Take a look at some of the highlights from earlier this evening that's got us to this point, and an early issue for Derek Kraus. Had to come to pit lane, and they put on left side tires. Thought maybe had a rub or a flat at that point.
And then chaos on the front straightaway. As you can see, Ty Majeski in the 45 truck gets bumped. Not bumped, clobbered, and he flips over. And check out those dramatic pictures of that truck sliding down the banks.
He was okay, thankfully.
Big stage win there for Riley Herbst.
He won stage 1, and then as they came to pit road, Johnny Sauter missed the pit box.
A little bit of miscommunication between Johnny and the team. He said he thought he was looking for his pit board to be a horse, and it was a 13. And, first pit stop blues here at Daytona.
It happens.
Then Zane Smith with an issue, and his driver's side safety net had come down, had to come to pit lane and get that attended to. And then the 9 of Cody Robaugh went around. Could have been much worse. He was able to keep it off the wall.
He never stopped driving it, did he, Vince?
No,
he hung on to that baby all the way to pit road. And Grant Enfinger picked up where he left off in 2019, winning stages.
And then some penalties. It's the uncontrolled tire, the 13 of Johnny Sauter. Ross Chastain had one of those as well, as you see it rolling across pit lane.
Joey, what about all this fancy technology we have to catch y'all when you do something wrong on pit road? You see those beautiful fancy cameras?
Yeah, they're beautiful as long as they don't make the call on you.
Tate Fogelman with all kinds of issues. This was just part of the problems that he has experienced tonight, and we'll see more of it right here.
Yeah, they got a lot worse for Tate.
Angela Ruck losing control of her vehicle. And there was the worse for Tate Fogelman. already on fire, and Brian Doza into the back end of him. 11 trucks involved in that one,
including that 23 truck there you see on the bottom of the screen. Brett Moffitt has had some issues with his front end. Kyle Busch texted me and said he thought that was damage from an earlier accident that bent that nose up. We were speculating that it could possibly be suspension, but that was his guess.
I think it was a pretty smart guess. He would know.
Yeah. Got to get all the information you can get to make sure we understand everything that's going on out there.
Going to go back to green. Maybe finish it up here in Daytona. Back at Daytona, Gander RV and Outdoors Truck Series, the season opener for the 2020 campaign, and we're coming to 25 to go, currently under caution. Hey, how about this? 2015 at Martinsville. The last time you were in the truck, Joey, and you went and won the thing.
I had a good restart right here. I was all excited about going 3 wide on a restart into turn 1 at Martinsville, and that was ultimately what did it. I think it was a green-white checker, so that was fun.
You kind of stunk up the show, though. You led 150 of the 258 laps.
Yeah, but I wasn't in the lead on the final restart. That's what made it crazy. There was some bumping and banging going on towards the end of that one. Typical Martinsville. It's funny, you could be on a half-mile racetrack or be on a 2.5-mile racetrack, and there's going to be bumping and banging with these truckers.
Get ready for this restart, and as we noted, when they come to the line and get the green, there will be 25 to go. And Stuart Friesen, who started 28th, we talked to him at the beginning of the race tonight about how far back he was starting, how he was going to get up there to the front. He's managed to do it.
Yeah, you think 25 laps to go, it's getting close to your bedtime. They run these things off in about 20 minutes. Don't worry about it. Just stay tuned. We want to make sure you see the finish of this amazing race. This is crazy racing.
Friesen with his teammate Rafael, or not a teammate, but manufacturer teammate, and Rafael Lassard behind him, a couple of Toyotas. You've got Grant Enfinger and Ben Rhodes, a couple of ThorSport teammates on the outside. Coming to 25 to go, and it's a McDonald's crank it up from Daytona. Wow, how quickly it changed for Grant Enfinger.
The scary part now for Grant Enfinger, that put him from controlling the race, being in the safest spot you could possibly be in the lead, to now you're right in the danger zone. You're right in the middle of when they crash. It's not if, it's when. You're going to be right in the middle of it. You're going to hopefully get around it.
And you know what he's got to do? He's got to go back through all these guys too. If he's gonna have a chance to win this race, it's getting late.
And it's hard to move your way through the field. You don't see a third lane up there to where there's a lot of runs going back and forth. You see side by side, and it's hard for that outside lane to move forward. It's hard for anyone to make a lot of progress. So, you know, it seems like right now track position's king.
How about the Canadians dominating this race? Stuart Friesen and Rafael Lassard 1-2.
Lassard, so impressive, 18 years old, and he is not put a wheel out of place tonight. Or Grant Enfinger from first all the way back to 12th. And Friesen, who started this race 28th, is out front with Lassard right behind him. Johnny Sauter third in line on the inside.
And remember, Sauter's been to the back twice. He had 2 issues on pit road, and you talked about track position and not being able to make moves. Johnny's come from the back to the front twice. That's impressive. He could have the strongest truck in the race. Setting up there inside the top 5, right down on the bottom.
Oh, and Sauter with a wiggle there just as you spoke. I think the 26 getting into the back end of Sauter, and Johnny had to gather it up.
That's another truck, Tyler Ankrum, that's done a great job tonight. He's been near the front all race long.
Ben Rhodes on the outside, getting some help from Todd Gilliland.
That's a big push. Remember, Gilliland pushed a truck around in the tri-oval earlier. That time he made it work. You live and you learn, I guess.
You know, and that's the thing, you know, when you're up there, you want someone that's aggressive behind you to be able to push you and keep your lane moving, especially if you're the leader. But it's kind of a double-edged sword sometimes, because things are going well, and the next thing you know, that push is what ends your day if you crash off the front bumper of the car behind you. So it's pick your poison. It's kind of tough. You want to stay up there, but you also don't want to crash.
Well, Gilliland's in a real good position here to give a push too, but it's coming right at the tri-oval. Does he make that move again, or just settle down and run some laps?
Gander RV, 20 to go.
The answer is he's pushing. Joey, there you see it.
It looked like he stayed just off of him enough through the tri-oval, and then you have that little short shoot before you get to turn 1, an opportunity to push a little bit and try to move your lane forward.
Stuart Friesen continuing to lead the way. He's led 12 laps tonight. Grant Enfinger's led the most, 31. Riley Herbst led 21 early, as Rhodes getting pushed out front by the 38 of Gilliland.
Now look at Gilliland. He comes down to side draft off Friesen, slow his momentum down. That was a really nice move. Technical, he gave the push properly to Rhodes down the straightaway, and then side drafted off the 52 to slow his momentum down. Nice work.
And this is where Ben Rhodes needs to listen to his spotter, TJ Majors. This is where he's really good at being able to pick which lane you need to be into, but also make sure the same thing doesn't happen to you as what happened to Grant Enfinger. Make sure you pick a lane and stay in it, and don't get put in a lane where there's no cars behind you and go all the way to the back.
Corner, they're pulling the inside lane back now. Here comes your help again. Still inside. Help's coming here still. He's getting a good shove. It's all right. We'll slow him in the corner, do our deal. He's still there. Do not slow him, though. You can be half car length off of him. And still even. Don't slow him. Nah. We'll help him if you do. You're good. He doesn't have any help, man. You're going to get shoved through in the front stretch here. You got to make sure you watch that 38 in your mirror. Make sure he helps you.
Oh.
So just a 52, 38, 16, 2 with you. 18 to go.
The role of the spotter so critical. Rick Corelli, the spotter for the 52 of Friesen. For the 99 of Ben Rhodes, it's TJ Majors.
And Majors was sitting there telling Ben Rhodes calmly, "You're fine, everything is good." And I loved his voice, how he just seemed so positive for Ben Rhodes that everything was going to be okay. Does he talk to you that way?
So it depends. Sometimes a little bit more realistic with me. But, you know, I was surprised when Ben got out front that he didn't try to get in front of the 52 and try to take that bottom lane. You know, he chose to stay with the help that has pushed him up there with Todd Gilliland. So an interesting move. They're working great together. He's trying to pull that whole lane up there. You know, as you know, got a couple Fords there, and I think that's kind of why he keeps choosing that lane, trying to help him along.
Now he's got himself quite a gap. He's going to be run up upon pretty hard here. Hope this bump doesn't turn him.
Ben Rhodes in the 99 on the outside, side by side. They told him right after the last pit stop, hey, you're going to have to watch your fuel, conserve if you can. We're barely, oh, and they're getting squirrely up front. And they say that they told him to watch his fuel, and if he starts to lead, he's definitely not going to have enough to make it to the end. But when you're in this position like Ben Rhodes is right now, what else can he do?
Wow, and as we saw Enfinger, thank you, Jamie, as we saw Enfinger get shuffled earlier, this time it's Stuart Friesen getting shuffled from the lead.
I told you, Stuart Friesen's truck does not handle good at all. And they came in during that last pit stop, did fuel only. That thing was loose before they did it. When you do fuel only, your car will get even looser if you don't make an adjustment with it. And right there you saw a truck that had clean air. The best a truck's gonna handle get very loose.
There it goes, sideways like you said, and masterful job of hanging on to a truck. His dirt racing experience enabled him to hang on to that truck when very few other folks could, I don't think. Now he'll live to fight another lap.
Hang on.
It's a masterful job by everybody not to crash right there.
Almost caught Gilliland. Gilliland narrowly avoided the contact from Friesen. Gilliland continues to run toward the front, right behind the race leader, Ben Rhodes. 15 laps left at Daytona. Who's going to win the season opener? Wow, you've been watching it at home, and I think there's been a couple of accidents, but they just haven't really piled into one another yet. How many times have they saved it here in these last few laps as we're getting down closer to the final 10 to go here at Daytona? Ben Rhodes continuing to lead. That's Sheldon Creed on the inside, Rhodes on the outside.
Creed's done a nice job positioning himself. We haven't talked a lot about Sheldon. Hadn't seen him out of control much. One of the, looks like better handling trucks, and he's right there on the point.
I mean, there's no way this one goes green to the end.
No, it's not.
There's no way.
We agree. Joey and I agree. I'd say everybody in Daytona agrees if they're watching how these trucks are just bobbing and weaving and somehow maintaining control.
There's been a caution in the final 20 laps of every one of the Truck Series races here. We've run since 2000, and every single one of them we've had a caution in the final 20. Haven't had that one yet.
And they're moving all over the place, and you've seen Ben Rhodes just leave the bottom open. Oh my goodness, that's through that tri-oval again. What a great save. But I tell you what, if you have a pusher behind you, you want it to be Todd Gilliland right now. He is pushing so hard, and that's just keeping that lane up there. But boy, it's so close to crashing quite a few times.
Ben Rhodes on the outside, Sheldon Creed. Creed seeking his first career win on the inside. Rafael Lassard, 18 years old, right behind Creed, second in line on that inside lane.
I think Todd Gilliland might have the fastest truck in Daytona. He sure can give some serious pushes to whoever he's behind.
He's got the strongest bumper, that's for sure.
Oh, it's so tense for these drivers. How do you do it, Joey? How do you sit there?
Lock together outside of you.
How do you sit there in the middle of a pack like that, knowing what's coming, but keep your foot on the floorboard?
It's only one way out. You know, you're constantly just looking and listening to everything that's going around, trying to make the right moves, the right decisions. Because one wrong decision, you lose the race. You know, there's so much on the line. Everything's so close. You never know what happens at the end of this thing.
Rafael Lassard, the 18-year-old from Canada, is going to push Sheldon Creed out front.
And right behind Lassard is Tyler Ankrum, and Ankrum has looked good tonight as well. He's got a good strong truck in that orange and white 26.
Man, this is so exciting. This is the best part about super speedway racing. You just hard pushing, hard side drafting, cars moving around. You know the wreck's right around the corner, and everyone's pushing so hard because they know you have a chance to win at Daytona. One of the coolest racetracks you can ever win at.
Would you tell me what corner it's around so I can calm down?
No, all of them. Down the straightaways too.
Look at that. There goes Ben Rhodes back out front from the bumper of Todd Gilliland.
That's Austin Hill behind Gilliland,
and that
third in line on the outside.
That beautiful blue truck right now.
And Ben's doing such a good job trying to pull around his Ford help that he has in Todd Gilliland. He has the opportunity to go down to the bottom, and I believe if he goes to the bottom, that top lane might fall apart, and he's trying to keep his help there with him for the end of the race.
Matt Crafton has tried diligently on that third lane to make some progress, to no avail. We've seen Johnny Sauter fall to the back twice and fight his way to the front, along with Grant Enfinger. He's had some challenges. Now he's trying to figure out his way back to the front.
Ben Rhodes out front, a two-time winner in the Gander Truck Series. Todd Gilliland right behind Rhodes, running second in that outside line. Gilliland, a much maligned season a year ago before he got a late season win at Martinsville. And then on the inside is Sheldon Creed seeking his first career win. And there's a lot of those further back that are still in the mix, believe me.
I'm impressed by the speed of Ben Rhodes to be able to hang up there and kind of control this race right now with another great Ford behind him. You know, and here comes a push on the bottom, although he got a little loose, which stopped it. No, here comes the bottom again. You know, those runs are going to keep seesawing back and forth as they go. And you see Todd Gilliland get back to Ben Rhodes, and then that push is going to start getting him ahead again. So it's just going to keep seesawing back and forth towards the end of this race. You hope you're in the right lane at the right time.
There goes Lassard. Gathers it up.
Saved it.
Stay straight. Stay straight. No caution. No caution. No caution.
Still green. 5 laps left.
What a save.
Beautiful. Got in a bind, but was able to save the truck.
And
3 wide. Look at that.
It changes the dynamics of this race completely as soon as that happened. Now the pack is spread apart. You see some 3 wide racing up here, and you got single file up ahead of this group.
This is when they're racing the hardest, Vince, and this is when the tires and the trucks are handling the worst. And that's a great example of how quickly one can jump out from underneath you. Great job of driving by Lassard.
That's an amazing save. Great save.
Terrific job by Rafael Lassard in just his 6th Truck Series start. The final 5 laps of the Gander Truck season opener here at Daytona.
You want to bet?
Oh! Ben Rhodes.
Give lane, come on, come on up, give lane.
Trying to hold off
Johnny's gonna help you.
Todd Gilliland. Three wide at the front. Gilliland on the bottom, Rhodes in the middle, and Matt Crafton on the outside.
There hasn't been a third lane.
Infinger in there on the outside. Check that, not Crafton, Infinger.
There hasn't been a third lane all night long.
And now they're 3 wide for the lead. Who saw this coming? I'm not surprised at all that both Infinger and Sauter have made their way back to the front again.
They're so good at this and willing to make runs, and people go with people they feel confident in. When they see experience like that, they know they can win on speedways. Someone's going to follow you.
A lot of blue ovals up front. The Fords have taken control of this race, but it isn't over.
I feel like this race is out of control. I don't know what you're thinking.
Rhodes and Infinger, and there goes Rhodes. Contact.
Big right, come on, straight it out, straight it out, straight it out, straight it out, straight it out. Go straight, man. Go on straight. Keep coming straight. Keep coming straight. Get off the.
So many involved. Jesse Little, the 97 around, the 13 of Johnny Sauter in it as well. Sheldon Creed. There's Tyler Ankrum in the 26, and Ben Rhodes. Stuart Friesen. And with 3 to go, the caution is out, and Grant Infinger, who had gotten shuffled from the lead all the way back to 13th, is out front under yellow.
That's Speedway racing. You know, you're ready in the hunt. You think you got a shot to win. Everything's going good, and then you're walking out of your car into the ambulance. It's just things happen that quick.
Vince, you said there's 5 to go, and I said I don't think so.
You're right.
There's going to be at least 1 overtime.
Remember last year in this race, 11 extra laps. The longest race in series history. The 18 of Eckes has come to pit road damaged as well. 15 of Tanner Gray, and there's the 26 of Tyler Ankrum. You saw the orange and white, while Ben Rhodes surveys a little damage of his truck, and he'll climb into the ambulance. That one collected a bunch. And we'll have NASCAR overtime. Riley Herbst on pit road. Hooking up the 26 to the wrecker, and watch it. This is how it started.
Ben Rhodes from the bumper of Johnny Sauter, but you don't know. He might have been sideways already. Just these guys were just so close and pushing so hard.
Yeah, you're pushing 3 wide, and as we can tell over and over again, when a car gets to another back bumper, they just become unstable. And yeah, it's a bad spot for the 99 of Ben Rose to be in. He had the 98 door-to-door with him, which is the most unstable your car is going to be, and then a push comes behind you on the exit of the corner as the banking flattens out. You're along for the ride.
What about Matt Crafton slipping through? And let's go on board with Austin Hill and watch his driving skills on display here as he makes it through as well. That's what you call cool under fire right there. Backed off the gas, was patient, waited for the hole to open, and then drove through it.
And that's the thing, you don't want to slam the brakes because the car behind you might run you over. So it's a tough spot to get through these things.
Now, did you see right before Sauter went into the back of Rhodes, he bobbled. That truck went up the racetrack. I think he was loose, got a little bit out of control, lost some momentum, and I think that's why Johnny hit him.
Could be right.
Todd Gilliland in that 38. He's had such a strong truck tonight. Here's the 51 of Riley Herbst.
Look at the move by Hill in the 16, right around the outside of Herbst.
So many involved, and those that weren't, it was a close call for almost every single one of them.
Watch the Rhodes truck just before the contact. You could see it was moving up, probably lost the nose a little bit there.
Yeah, it's just so hard to say. Things happen so fast.
Ellen Herbst, who was second in line right behind Infinger, almost made it and then just got clipped at the last second.
Another great move by the black truck here. This is Corbin Forrester on the bottom, up out to the outside wall and just squeezed through that hole. Great driving.
Yeah, that one's killed.
Eckes. Tough night for Christian Eckes in that 18 team. A lot of damage done. We'll talk a lot about this young man throughout the course of the season, though. He's such a talented driver and an outstanding team at Cobblish Motorsports. The crew chief is Rudy Fugel. And
tough night for Cobblish Motorsports. All of his trucks have been torn up.
So Infinger out front with Todd Gilliland, Austin Hill.
We lost a lot of Fords, Vince.
Yep.
They took the brunt of the blow in that accident. There's 2 left, and they're right up front, but they're going to be pursued hotly and heavily by a bunch of Toyotas and Chevys.
So here comes the question again. You got 2 Fords up front. Do they pull the okie dokie? Get in front of each other on a green-white checker.
I don't see it. I mean, it's too risky, right?
I don't know if it actually helps them win the race if they do that.
Yeah.
It's risky for 1, and 2, I don't know if it finishes the job.
Now, there's somebody out there that said, the what? The
okie dokie. If you weren't watching the beginning of the race, that's when 2 teammates pull into I made this word up. Well, I didn't make up the word okie dokie, but the definition of it, at least today, is when 2 teammates decide to let each other in to try to establish control of the race, possibly on the bottom lane.
That's not a. I mean, it's not an official term, but it's
it
Joey.
Is now.
It's Joey term, and he's running with
him. As you saw the 52 of Friesen losing rubber off his truck. How about the radio from Johnny Sauter's group?
I don't know what happened there. I don't think I turned him. I think he was just loose. Yeah, it's the end of the race. Everybody's just trying.
I think Johnny agrees with me, and I think that's correct. I know that he lost some momentum. I think the truck got a little bit free, and Johnny was right on him.
Well, while they assemble the carnage and repair some of it best they can, let's go back to our Fox Studios in Charlotte. Check in with Caitlin Vincey and company.
Thank you, Vince. Yeah, Caitlin Vincey here with Phil Parsons, Todd Bodine. Obviously, we knew the big one. It was going to be coming at some point. Kind of take us through what you guys saw.
I think Michael was spot on. You know, Ben Rhodes up there trying to get back to the front and just got a little loose. And when you lose that little bit of momentum, Johnny running the back of him. It wasn't Johnny's fault. I think that was a racing deal.
I remarked to Todd after they got through turn 4, 3 wide. I said, I can't believe they made it through that turn. They went down through the tri-oval and didn't make it through turn number 1.
Yeah, so we still have a bit of this race left to go, NASCAR overtime. What are we thinking about? Who could potentially pull this thing off, guys?
Well, I think Grant Enfinger has had the fastest truck the whole race and made a mistake and got hung out. Made his way back to the front, got hung out again, and now he finds himself back in the lead. So I'm going with Enfinger.
And he may be the only guy without much damage, too, because some of the other guys that made it through were like Matt Crafton. He was against the outside wall prior to making it through. Looked like Grant Enfinger got through there unscathed.
But do we think this is the end of the cautions for the night? We've been talking about this.
I would doubt that. I mean, certainly.
I hope so, but there's laps left and there's still trucks left, so there's probably another caution lane out there.
And there's going to be a lot of damaged trucks that are still on the lead lap, still with a shot to win this race. We saw what Eric Jones and Denny Hamlin did in the Busch Clash, so nobody is out of this thing yet for sure.
Yeah, and when you kind of look at this race, what we've seen so far, what's maybe been the biggest surprise to you guys when you kind of look at everything we've seen start to quote-unquote finish so far?
To me, the biggest surprise is how hard the trucks are to drive, and the guys have done a great job of not letting this happen to this point.
Yeah, I totally agree. Those trucks really look like they're a handful. We talk about them staying against a double yellow line. Not many of them can.
All right, well, we still have some racing left to go. Let's send it back to the racetrack. Okie doke. That's to you, Joey Logano.
Okie doke and okie dokie, they mean two completely different things.
Exactly, yeah. It's not what I said at all. You got it completely wrong.
Well, the one thing I think we could probably all agree on, probably not done with the cautions. I mean, right? I mean, are we going to be able to get through this NASCAR overtime without a caution?
You know, I think we've got a chance. I mean, I think it's 50-50 at best, but there's a lot of trucks have been eliminated. There's some damaged trucks that could go pushing up through there and make some noise. Grant Enfinger's been the fastest truck. Can he push ahead and pull that bottom line if that's where he chooses to restart?
Yeah, and there you see the rules. Once the leader takes the white flag, the next flag ends the race. So it's not necessarily coming all the way back to the checker. Once that leader takes the white and the caution comes out, that would be the end. So technically, it might only be one lap.
We got to make one lap, right?
That's easier said than done.
Rafael Assard, who had an impressive showing for most of the night tonight before he went around. Of course, this is just the beginning. Race 1 of 23. Next week, we'll load them up and go to Sin City. Las Vegas. The bright lights and warm temperatures, we hope. And in the desert. Race number 2 of the season.
We see some great racing on that 1.5 miles, don't we? These
Love that trip.
Put on an awesome show. 2, 3 wide.
It's
awesome drafting racing. It's a great track.
It's a great track. Presents so much opportunity to make big moves. You have that really wide front straightaway. We go down on the apron and go 3, 4 wide. It becomes pretty crazy there.
We've had a couple of big incidents tonight. One, a 9-vehicle incident in which Ty Majeski went up on his lid, and another 11-vehicle incident that has brought out this caution. Let's go back downstairs. Jamie Little.
Jeff Hensley with the call here for Grant Enfinger. What a night it has been. What do you think? Are we done wrecking? Do you think you guys can hang on?
No, we're not done wrecking yet, I'm sure. No, I mean, our champion F-150 has been pretty stout. We were a little disappointed in our qualifying run, but we knew yesterday in practice the thing would pull up good and drove really good. And so, we kind of put a little extra downforce in it for that and hurt our qualifying effort. But Grant's done a heck of a job getting where he needs to be. Made one mistake there and got off the bottom and got caught in the middle, but man, he just driving his heart out, and we'll see what happens. These guys deserve a win, and so does Duke and Rhonda, and we'll see what happens.
Heck of a job so far. We'll see if he can hang on for 2 more laps, Vince.
Grant Enfinger, runner-up in this race a year ago. He's got a chance to take that next step forward and get that first win of the season. I remember we heard from Grant early. in the show today and asked about what's the next step for this team, this 98 team. He said, we need to win races. We were the regular season champ, but we need to win. And he's got his chance to do it tonight.
What about some of those stories that are up front? Ross Chastain nearly taken out in that early accident, but then also there's Derek Kraus out on the outside. Remember, you had that flat tire early, came to pit road, and also Zane Smith inside the top 5. And our buddy, the hardest working man in NASCAR Truck Series racing, Jordan Anderson, has found his way up inside the top 10 with a shot to make some noise here.
And we talked about the strategy of laying back, right? You saw the trucks earlier, laying back from the big pack, waiting on that crash to happen. They're so confident it's going to happen that they're just going to wait on it. And now they find themselves in position to have a solid finish. It's going to be hard to come from 6th or 7th or even 5th to win this thing. It's possible, but it's going to be very hard to do that. But because they laid back, they have a chance of getting a good finish.
Right. Natalie Decker, Jason White, another couple of racers that chose the laying back strategy. Now they find themselves in the top 10. But I'm telling you, there's going to be some comers from back in the 20th position. Crafton's patched his truck up, as has Moffitt, Todd Gilliland. I think those guys can make some noise. How far do they get? It just depends on how wide they can make this track.
Yeah, Ross Chastain had a penalty earlier tonight. Derek Kraus, we mentioned, he had an unscheduled pit stop, had to come in, was a lap down for a while. So it's difficult to get through an entire race at Daytona and not have to come through some adversity.
Grant Enfinger is really relying on Ross Chastain right now. He wants Ross Chastain to get the best start of his career. Grant needs that push.
Enfinger, the only Ford in the top 10.
How about that?
Lone Ranger out there.
Who's gonna help him out down the stretch?
Whoever it'll help themselves.
They're going to get selfish, is that what you're saying?
That's exactly right. They're going to use him up if they can.
That Toyota Tundra pace truck is off. It's NASCAR overtime at Daytona.
See wheel spin on that start a little bit.
Wheels don't hook up very well if they're off the ground, and I think Ross Chastain was giving him a push. It's going to work so far.
Enfinger nudging ahead. Chastain there in second. Austin Hill, the first truck there on the outside.
And look how small this group is up front here. They've really driven away from the pack behind them.
Chastain all over the back bumper of Enfinger.
I think he's pushing and hoping to maybe get Grant a little bit loose. And Zane Smith, is that who that is on the outside in the 21? What a great move he just made.
Absolutely, and he's looking for a little help now from Austin Hill. And Derek Kraus third in line on the outside. Johnny Sauter fourth in line on that outside run. Here they come to the line. It's the white flag. The next flag will end the race. Yellow or checkers. And it's Grant Enfinger out front.
You know Ross Chastain's going to make that move.
Oh, what
Barely
a
saved
save.
it.
Bottom, get bottom.
Jordan Anderson in second behind Enfinger. Zane Smith trying to come from the outside, looking for a little help. Down the backstretch into turn 3, it's still Enfinger. Jordan Anderson second, Cody Robaugh third.
He's hooked to him. This is going to be a big move.
Anderson swings outside.
He's going to get him.
Jordan Anderson and Grant Enfinger at the line. It's going to be Enfinger.
In the middle, you got it.
What a thriller. Wow. Grant Enfinger does it. And it's the 100th win for Ford.
I could have sworn when Jordan Anderson got to the outside.
You are the man.
I thought Anderson had it won.
So, thank you, guy, for this. Man, all special deal. So, the wife's here on a special day. Unbelievable race. Great call, Jeff. This is what we needed to do.
That's Daytona right there. It just brings all your emotions to the front. Getting a checkered flag at this place is the best feeling in the world.
What a way for Ford to get its 100th win in the Truck Series.
That's an amazing
thriller at Daytona. Wow.
What about that top 5, Vince? Grant gets the win. Jordan Anderson, career best. Cody Robaugh, Derek Kraus in 4th, and Natalie Decker with a top 5 finish. Great job.
100th of a second.
Jordan was pushing right there, wasn't he? Trying to get that truck loose, makes the move to the outside, does it perfectly.
And you see right there when Grant went up and door jammed him, yeah, that killed Jordan's momentum and propelled Grant back into the lead. Jordan did the right thing by attaching to his bumper, making it to where it's pretty much impossible to block it. He's already at your bumper. Incredible race all the way to the yellow line.
What a great finish.
Wow. Jamie Little.
And Jeff Hensley, we just heard from him, but just like that, you guys win it. We just saw the celebration with your team, Jeff. Describe what it means to win at Daytona.
Oh, wow. It's huge. I've been lucky enough to win here before. It's been 10 years ago. So it's big. I mean, this race team needed this. We were so consistent last year and just could not win a race for whatever reason. And we kind of changed our philosophy on what we did as far as stage points and different things and racing to be in position to win. And man, it looked like we were, and then we lost it, and I thought, oh well, here we go. But Grant did a heck of a job getting back to where he needed to be, and you know, but hey, we won this thing. We won Daytona.
Such a smart race for these guys, and we will meet Grant in victory lane, Vince.
His 3rd career win, and its first checkered flag since September of 2018.
He's right down there too, Vince. We're just below our broadcast position. Cool to see the fans up on their feet enjoying this victory with Grant as well. Well deserved. Cheers.
And Jordan Anderson to bring it home, a career best second. I don't know what he could have done differently. He gave it a shot.
He did everything perfectly when he got beside him. The only thing maybe he could have done differently is keep going up the hill and maybe try to get away from Grant Enfinger. They made a lot of contact. It looked like it hurt his momentum more than it did Enfinger's.
Like I said, the move to attach to Grant Enfinger was 100% correct. The move to the right side of him to pull him back was the right move. He didn't stay on his quarter as long as I would want him to be to slow down Grant coming to the line. And then as you see here, Grant, good move. Let's make some contact to the end. We're trucking. And you see how that just kills the momentum to the outside truck of Jordan Anderson, and Grant's able to pull that forward ahead.
A full contact finish. Grant Enfinger holding off Jordan Anderson by 100th of a second. What a way to begin 2020. A thriller at Daytona. Grant Enfinger with his 3rd career win to open the Gander RV and Outdoors 2020 season, and it was a thriller by 100th of a second over Jordan Anderson. Anderson, Cody Robaugh, Derek Kraus, Natalie Decker, all with career best finishes. Let's go to Alan with the runner-up.
Yeah, Grant Enfinger may be the winner, but Jordan Anderson is the story tonight. Tell me about that final lap, the final corner. 100th of a second.
Man, there's not too many opportunities. I'm getting to see the replay here for the first time, but you get to go for your win. Hey, Grant, what are you doing door slamming me, man? I'm almost speechless for words. I came here 2015 and emptied my bank account to try to come down here and run, and to be in a position to even go for a win at Daytona, man. I'm a kid that just wanted to go racing from South Carolina. Wally Rogers and all my guys, John Bomarito and everybody at the Bomarito Automotive Group. We got K-Steel, a new sponsor. First time with us, Capital City Towing, Sefton Steel. So many people, Randy Knighton, that believe in us. You know me, man. I'm usually not speechless, but God is good. You look at our race team and the opportunities that we've had, and it's just because people have come in and believed in what we're doing and what we're trying to do, and God's put the right people in our path. And all you guys that follow me, man, on Facebook and Twitter, you guys, all you guys in America, this truck nut in America, they keep me going, man. It's the journey isn't easy, but it's worth it. Embrace the journey. And I thought I set him up good. We tried to follow Ross there to push him, and I know he got loose, and I got on Grant's bumper there coming off a 4 and got a good run. I'm like, man, this is like NASCAR Thunder 2003 all over again. I'm like, I can do this, and I pushed him out of the way. I'm like, I thought we had it, but this is to try to put into words what this means for our team, I had to move some money around this winter just to get through to buy this truck, and we knew that we needed to bring the best truck we could, and this sport isn't easy, and I love NASCAR. I love this sport. This is what NASCAR is about, man, and to do this for every single one of my guys and everybody that's supported us from the biggest sponsor to the smallest sponsor. I know I'm talking more than I should, FS1, Mark Smith, I'm sorry, but man, I love you guys. This is Daytona, we almost won!
You've earned it, buddy. Let's go to victory lane.
Yeah.
One happy team. They have been singing and chanting. The Gatorade is flying. Grant Enfinger, 100th of a second there. You just won at Daytona. What does this mean to you and this team?
Unbelievable feeling. 100 win for Ford in the Gander Outdoors Truck Series, so unbelievable for them. More importantly, the 25th anniversary for Duke and Rhonda, how much they put into this sport. And you know, God's blessed us with a great opportunity to come out here and are able to pull it off tonight. So we had a great F-150 all night long. Wish Dennis could be here from Champion. He missed it. His wife, Mary, is having some surgery some Mondays. So we're thinking about her. But my mom and dad are somewhere up here. My wife is right there. It's a special day for us. And just an unbelievable night.
Valentine's Day, but take us through that race. You drove about as flawless as you can at Daytona. How did you do it? Because there were wrecks throughout the night that you were able to avoid.
The biggest thing is we had a really good Ford F-150 to do it with. I made a mistake there with about 20 to go. I got hung up in the sucker hole. I pulled up in front of Ben too late, and he was going to wreck me or put me in the middle, and that's what happened. And at that point, I was pretty confident a wreck was going to happen. So I tried to buy my time on the bottom, and then we were able to, it got, I guess, 4 or 5 laps to go, and then it's time to go. And we were able to get up in the third groove and make some stuff happen and get the lead on that big wreck going into 1 and 2. So that's what kind of sealed the deal for us. My buddy Ross gave me some good pushes at the end. I know he was trying to reach out on us, and I was able to block him. But just unbelievable night. Thank you to Jeff Hensley, Duke and Rhonda Thorson, Pop Tart with the pit crews, Josh Hankish, everybody that makes this possible.
Third career win, and it happened at Daytona. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Empinger. Let's go over to Alan.
Jamie, 1 year ago, Natalie Decker wrecked on lap 1, caught on fire. 1 year later, you are on top 5 here at Daytona. What went right tonight?
It just feels so good. We had such a good team effort and plan, and we all stuck to it, and that's what got me that good finish. And I just can't thank N29. They've been with me. You know, I can't think of much. They've been with me since the beginning, and the guy who sponsors me on 29, it's his birthday, so I have to wish him a happy birthday. And I'm just so thankful I got to be here with Nice Motorsports, and I'm in a Chevy now, so I'm really happy.
Great start to the season for Natalie.
What a terrific finish for Natalie Decker, and the best finish ever for a female driver in the Truck Series. Well, guys, hard to top that.
That's as good as it gets. We had all kinds of action, and those guys showed exactly how talented they were getting to that finish like that. I mean, we had everything I wanted to see in a NASCAR race here at the biggest stage, the best race, Daytona. What a great night.
It was a great